As I take you live now to Cape Town, where the South African Social Security Agency has been grilled over irregular and wasteful expenditure amounting to something like 1.4 billion rand. SASSA is investigating more than 660 cases of irregular expenditure, which one MP is describing as theft. Officials appearing before the Standing Committee on Public Accounts today. eNCA's Annika Larsen joins us now with the very latest from Parliament, and it has been a tough day for them. But before we get to what happened in the Scopa hearing, Annika, there's been a development that you're about to tell us, and I'm just hearing this in my ear, relating to the former Steinhoff Chief Executive Officer Markus Jooste. What are you hearing?
That's right, Jeremy. There's a small chance that the public might be able to actually see what Markus Jooste really looks like. The Standing Committee on Finance has taken a draft resolution today to issue a summons for Mr. Jooste to appear before it and 3 other committees, that's Scopa, Public Service and Administration, and Trade and Industry, and for him to answer questions at a hearing before the Finance Committee. Remember that there were hearings held last year at some stage, but Mr. Jooste did not appear, and he wrote to Parliament's Legal Services saying that he declined to attend those hearings and would not appear. Now, the summons can be taken on review, I understand, but he would have to argue that the person issuing the summons, in this case it would be the Speaker, had no authority to issue it, or that it was issued to harass him for an ulterior purpose or in bad faith. So the Speaker will have to issue that summons. And interestingly, you know, you've seen those Senate hearings on American television where politicians testify before on Capitol Hill. Well, in the US, you can't use any testimony that's used before those sort of hearings in any criminal case. But in South Africa, they're a little bit more flexible. They could possibly use some of the evidence, but Mr. Jooste has also got the right under the Power and Privileges Act and Section 54 of the Constitution not to answer the questions put to him. So let's see, A, if he takes the summons on review, and B, if he does come before this Finance Committee, if he agrees to answer any questions. Of course,
Annika, we're not sure, unless I'm very much mistaken, as to the whereabouts of Mr. Jooste. Are we? Is he in the country?
We understand from a few people who've seen him that he's in Hermanus. He's holed up at his very big house there near Full Clip Beach. We did hear that building had stopped at one of the sites that was going to be that he was going to be building a house at. But from all accounts, I understand that he is in the country. His legal team previously said to me that he was a few weeks ago, and that he has been seen in and around Hermanus. But having said that, there have been no charges put to him, Jeremy, so he really is free to come and go as he pleases. He has not been subpoenaed, as I understand, to answer any questions by the Hawks, and no charges have been put to him. So he's not a guilty man, he's a free man, and he's certainly not a suspect at this stage. He can come and go as he pleases.
All right, Annika, to Scopa very quickly, and you'll tell us today about a litany of money running into tens of millions of rand that has simply been unaccounted for.
That's right. Under the administration of Batibile Dlamini and her acting CEO of SASSA, Pearl Bengu, we understand that there was 1.4 billion rand in irregular expenditure. Now, it seems that when unpacking this before the current minister, Susan Shabangu, and the new CEO, Abram Mahlangu, today, who really had very little to say about what had happened in the previous administration, that there were a lot of self-made emergencies, or even when there were emergencies for people who were desperately sitting with the charred remains of their belongings next to them, for instance, in an informal settlement shack fire, that the inflated emergency needs would be, for instance, a mattress which cost 400 rand would be put down on the books as, say, for 2,000 rand. There are also certain amounts that were signed off by Pearl Bengu at the time when she was asked specifically not to, 16 million rand for 3 conferences in KwaZulu-Natal in December. Huge amounts of money spent on conferences that in the end, 2 of which didn't actually happen. And why are they able to inflate in emergencies? Well, it's under procurement tender processes. You can, when there is an emergency, whether it's self-made or genuine, you don't don't have to go to Treasury to ask for a deviation. You can simply say, look, we needed to buy 500 bottles of water immediately, and we had to pay 5 billion rand for them because that's all the water that was available. So this is a very insightful look to how possible looting of SASSA, that establishment that was made to provide the poorest of the poor and the desperate with money, how that money was possibly taken away from them either by mismanagement or by malfeasance.
Am I being rude and disrespectful, Annika Larsen, if I ask whether the principal players in this saga are actually testifying or not? It seems to me that there's some very marked absences there.
I think you're being incredibly polite. Pearl Bengu, she has not appeared before Scope on several occasions, saying that she has not been well today. She is not well again. She is the only former CEO, she's now in KwaZulu-Natal, that was not present at the meeting today. And Abram Mahlangu, the current acting CEO, and Minister Susan Shabangu, bumbling and fumbling and trying to explain some of the differences in costings and inflated costs. 2 million rand for Batabile Dlamini and her spokesperson's security, her children for their security from Arthur Fraser's, we understand, security company. Some of that money not brought back. Where is Pearl Bengu? Well, she's not well, so Scopa will have to find a time when she is well. But also the Hawk saying that there is several investigations underway, but not of any major players. And MPs saying that basically is a failed entity. It's wholesale theft.